priorities right now? What are you focusing on that you have to today, and what would you love to see yourself and the team that you work on doing in the next 6 months or a year?
Yeah, so I think right now we're really focused on integrating with CAR and with internally helping our clients, which are kind of the different companies under CAR. Automotive is one. We're helping them turn the data that they already have into actual, I guess you would call it data points that you could then make decisions off of. So I'll distinguish here a little bit between data and data points, right? So you can have like a spreadsheet full of data, but you don't necessarily have a lot of data points from it to make a decision, right? It's kind of just a bunch of numbers until someone, combs through it, cleans it, like Crispy does, makes it into a format that other people can understand, and then, give advice. So I would say that, and I'm very new to this industry, but I would say, I'm really excited to get access to more data. I think right now, like, we're kind of scraping the surface, and there's so much more out there that we can do, and I'm just, really excited and thrilled to get to do it.
Awesome. Can I actually, just keeping the mic with you for a minute, how did you get into, walk through kind of your career progression a little bit as to how you got into this role? Because you do have an interesting background.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, as Kim mentioned in my bio, I did survey data collection as an undergraduate for 2 years, and that was actually going out into the field, fielding surveys, doing in-person interviews, qualitative focus groups, and then taking all that data back, entering it into a computer, and then eventually writing a report. So I often like to say that that job was great because I got to learn the data process from beginning to end, from standing in a cafeteria with 100 third graders holding crowns, filling out surveys, to writing a report that the state of Texas then took action on. So, I started thinking about graduate school, and because I'd done so much quantitative work, I naturally gravitated towards a quantitative program in my field, which at the time was sociology. And, sociology and economics and some of the social sciences are really kind of, I won't say like on the cutting edge, they're definitely like a lot more open, I think, than some other fields to this revolution in data science and machine learning. I think that, I was lucky to be in the right program at the right time. We had a great grant from the National Science Foundation. They were doing a lot of coding and working with big data, a lot of network analysis, things like that. And it's kind of funny because at the time I was working with census data, which had 300 million data points, and I was like, wow, this is big data. Yeah, not really. But for me at the time it was. So I started out, I've actually worked at the Census Bureau. I worked at a nonprofit that did healthcare policy. That's where I picked up SQL. Any aspiring data scientists out there, SQL is still probably the #1 language you need to learn. Like Python is great for analysis, but I spent a lot of time writing SQL queries, and I have at every job that I've been at. SQL is still the language for working with relational databases. So after I picked up SQL, I just kind of was able to naturally apply a lot of the, I guess, like framework and the lessons I learned in graduate school. So for example, how to ask a question, right? Like how to frame it, how to tell a story with data. These were all skills that I learned in sociology, but I've been able to apply outside of that field.
Cool, thanks. Does anyone else want to share kind of their